Summer brings big changes for Yorkshire's countryside. Lanes fill with traffic and local businesses are busy trying to make enough money to get through the next winter. But summer also brings big challenges for the Helimed team. Farmers have just a few weeks to turn their fields full of crops into cash. But for one young farmer in West Yorkshire, this harvest could be his last.
The machine was running, I had to stop it.
While baling hay, farmer Micky Garth has got his arm stuck in this piece of machinery. The sharp rotating blades have caused life-threatening injuries.
We're definitely required, they've said. So obviously we're making tracks as quick as we can to get them some help. That farm there, that farm in front, is that one there, but it's on the right of that, on the right of that farm.
Okay, yeah, in a field, obviously when it's my definition of a combine harvester.
Michael's in the middle of the field he was harvesting, and although local ambulances have struggled to reach him, the Helimed team can land right next to the scene.
How are we doing there? Traumatic partial amputation, left arm at the shoulder. Okay. It's been ages finding a vein. I've just got one in.
Just got one in, okay. Can you feel me touching you there, but you can't? Right. Okay.
I believe he was working on the top of the baler and got his arm caught in the machinery. That's all. When I came, he'd been released. I was first here.
Michael's girlfriend Amy and friend Keith managed to pull him out of the baler, and Keith is now playing a pivotal role in his treatment. His arm is almost severed. He's losing blood fast, and raising his legs can help maintain blood circulation to his brain.
Have you got any pain at the moment? I know you've been asked this before. Okay, no pain at all. All right, buddy. Okay.
There's no sensation in his hand or anything like that. I don't know. But it's still attached.
The human body contains about 5 litres of blood. You can lose a little, but any more than a third, and you're unlikely to survive.
It looks like it's gone right round and just left it attached at the top. Obviously very dangerous, these machines. They've got a lot of moving parts and people try and free stuff and they get caught in them, and it just obviously they're unforgiving. And so he's got risk of maybe losing it, I don't know yet, but we'll get him straight to Leeds where the plastics are, and that's where he needs to be.
The machine has cut through arteries, tendons and bone, and Michael has no feeling in his fingers.
Normal fitting well, any medical problems? No. No? Right.
Can you squeeze my mate's hand there?
Squeeze my hand there.
Right.
Michael's losing blood out of the wound at an alarming rate. This means his blood pressure is dropping. He could go into cardiac arrest and stop breathing at any moment.
Right, what we're going to do, buddy, we're just going to put a board underneath you from this way, all right? So I'll sort of lift you up from the shoulders. We'll lift you up slightly, and then we'll push the board along. All right, mate?
Okay. 1, 2, 3, go.
The team have stabilised Michael, but in this environment it's almost impossible to prevent infection, and that could jeopardise his chances of making a full recovery. Coming up, a trauma unit's on standby for Michael, but doctors know the chance of saving his life, never mind his arm, aren't good.
The orthopaedic surgeons are here and the plastic surgeons, and they're going to take him off to theatre.
Now, let's catch up on that case we brought you earlier, and the paramedics have their work cut out. At a farm near Otley in West Yorkshire, harvesting has come to an abrupt halt. There's been a serious accident, and a young farmer is critically injured after trapping his arm in a hay baling machine.
It looks like it's gone right round and just left it attached at the top.
Micky Garth is only 26, but he's fighting for his life. He's lost a lot of blood, and his body is struggling to cope.
Can you squeeze my fingers? No? Okay.
His rescuers, including Helimed 99's Colin Jones and Lee Davison, are not just there to save his life. They're also trying to save his arm.
You're going to be okay, all right? Okay? Yeah. So nobody's saying that you're going to lose it or anything, but I mean, it's taking it in, hasn't it? And it's held it there for quite a while, by the sound of it. All right? Okay. It'll be about 3 or 4 minutes and we'll be there, all right?
It's no, is it?
The team know that despite all their efforts and the expertise of the waiting surgeons at the Leeds General Infirmary, infection will almost certainly set in, and doctors sometimes have no choice but to amputate limbs to stop infection from spreading. It's estimated one person every week dies working on a farm. and agriculture has the highest death rate of almost any industry. But Michael's a fit young man, and he'll need all his strength to overcome this ordeal.
Pins and needles, right. Well, that was more than he had before, isn't it? He said he had nothing before.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Michael's wheeled straight into resus, the area where more seriously injured patients are assessed. The doctors and consultant plastic surgeons, as well as a team of highly qualified nursing staff, have rushed in to help.
They've got him stabilised, they've exposed the arm. The orthopaedic surgeons are here and the plastic surgeons, and they're going to take him off to theatre. Obviously got risk of infection with him being over, with it being wide open like that, and obviously high risk of bleeding. A lot of main arteries run down that feed into the arm and the nerves and stuff. So they're concerned about that, and the sooner that they're there, the better. Really.
Michael undergoes emergency surgery to stem the bleeding and clean the open wound. Doctors estimate he has lost nearly 80% of the blood in his body. Very few people survive after losing so much. But after 2 weeks in intensive care, Michael pulls through, and after surprising the doctors once, he does it again. Just 3 weeks after the accident, he's back on the farm.
When I first looked at it, I thought, oh dear. When I lied down, I could feel it lying dead on my chest. Cause they were just absolutely not there. It was crushed it was completely shattered. I knew I'd lost my arm then, but they tried like hell to save it in hospital, but I knew it were gone then. It was that mangled.
For many amputees, it takes years to come to terms with losing a limb, but not Michael.
I've always said that Bailey will get me one day, because I've done it thousands of times, flick banding, not a problem. But I always knew it were going to get me one day, and sort of physically I've sort of built myself up to that. And I can do most things with this to start with, but obviously there's a lot of stuff I can't do. And there will be, but they say they might be able to get me a prosthetic, so maybe in about 6 months I might be back up fully fit, hopefully. I've always gifted to charity, and I've always said I'll need them one day. I think they're absolutely spot on.